Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, I shouldn't even say welcome back, I should say welcome to my brand new channel, Don't Burn the House Down Gaming. Now, if you know me from my other channel, Don't Burn the House Down, that channel was focused largely on DIY projects around the house, maybe camper stuff, truck stuff, boat stuff, things that you can do around your house with your vehicles. This channel is devoted solely to gaming. Now, not only is it devoted to gaming, but it's devoted to the games and the systems that helped shape my life growing up. Obviously, I grew up in the 90s, in the early 2000s. That was when my childhood really peaked. I was born in 82, so I grew up with the Nintendos, the 64s, the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, all the way through every single one of the consoles. But that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is my new series called Nostalgia Unlocked.
It's me,
some bald guy, or something. Nostalgia Unlocked is going to be a series devoted entirely to the Nintendo 64 and the games on the Nintendo 64 that I grew up with. The 64 was not the best system of its generation, I will concede that, but it was my favorite system of all time because that's one that I played when I was a kid. So this video series is going to focus on just that, the N64 and the games that I loved to play on that system. Step one, today, we're going to try to find a Nintendo 64, and we're going to go visit a couple of local shops here to try to find a couple of games that I want to put on that list. Now, what I've come up with is there's a couple ways that I could secure a Nintendo 64. Unfortunately, my original N64 was sold. A couple of years ago, I was on some hard financial times and I really wanted to get my kids some Nintendo Switch Lites for Christmas, and I found a gentleman on Facebook saying, I will trade a Nintendo Switch Lite brand new in box for old vintage gaming systems. And so I gave up my Nintendo 64 and my Super Nintendo for Nintendo Switch Lites to give my kids for Christmas. Anyways, I'm going to find them now, but there's a couple places I think I can look. First and foremost, obviously, is brick and mortar, which we're going to go look at today. We're going to go to a local pawn shop as well as a local retro gaming store to try to find a new Nintendo 64. And when I say new, obviously, I mean new used. The other options are Facebook Marketplace and eBay. Those are the two places I thought we could look right now. So let's jump on the computer here. Hey, I can see my head twice. Let's jump on the computer and let's look around for some cool Nintendo 64s. Alright, so I apologize for the crappy video quality. Hopefully the audio is good because I do have my nice microphone here, but obviously we're on my webcam. So anyways, like I said, three places that we could look for a Nintendo 64. I figured we could go brick and mortar, which we're going to look at later on today. We could look at Facebook Marketplace, which is what we're here, and then we could look at eBay. I don't want to look at like a DK Oldies or some official online store. I feel like they mark their stuff up quite a bit, and I'm really not looking to spend a ton, although I feel like I probably will. But anyways, so let's get started. One of the drawbacks, I think, to looking at a place like Facebook Marketplace is that we've got a lot of different options here, but we really don't know how well these systems are taken care of. And that's what I get a little bit nervous about. Now, I live in the western metro of Minneapolis, so you'll see a lot of Minneapolis places in here, but something like this, for example, a Nintendo 64 lot. These are just games. Okay, never mind. Let's back out of here. This guy here. It's got a video too. Cool. That's a Nintendo 64 with 9 games, couple controllers. Okay, so look over here. This guy. This AV2 HDMI cable. Here's one of the things that I'm hung up on with a Nintendo 64. This system doesn't have the ability to broadcast out to HDMI natively. So there's a couple different ways that we can achieve that, and this is something that I need to solve for. That little AV2 HDMI is literally... It's cheap. They sell those things for like $2 or $3. It's basically taking the wires from your Nintendo 64, crossing them over into an HDMI cable so you can put it up on your TV. That doesn't do anything for your image quality, so it's not going to look great. I had one of those on my old Nintendo 64 before I got rid of it. They look terrible. It does not look good at all. So my thought was threefold. Analog, the company Analog has a Analog 64 coming out in several months. It's like $250, but it's completely sold out. It is a brand new system. It looks like a Nintendo 64. It plays Nintendo 64 games. It has its own operating system, but it is its own system in itself. $250, they're completely sold out, and I don't want to wait that long. So my second thought was, well, I buy a used 64 like this guy right here, and then I buy a nice upscaling thing. And let me find one of those really quick. So something like this, the Super 64. This is an adapter that actually upscales your image. So you would plug your input cables into this, you'd plug an HDMI cable into this. It would actually upscale your image quality for your Nintendo 64. These things are nice. From what I understand, this is just one brand. It's $160. So that's something we got to think about with the price. Okay, so I could do an upscaler like this. Or option B, and this is something we'll probably find on eBay, is that we could find a Nintendo 64 that has an HDMI mod built into it. And those mods do allow for you to natively plug in your Nintendo 64 to HDMI. So let's take a look at that. I don't love this one. Let's keep looking. Lot of big... I don't want green either. That just... I don't know. I'm not getting a good vibe from any of this. And this, again, is what you kind of run into on Facebook marketplaces. You may end up getting a pretty good deal on something. $240. 4 controllers, rumble pack. There's that AV2 HDMI right there again. See that? Right there. Mario 64. Pokemon. Okay. Yeah. Not this one. I'm not feeling it. Option 2 is eBay. So... just pumped in Nintendo 64. We've got a system with 2 original controllers and cords. $170. AV cable, standard stuff. Standard jumper pack. So $170. Okay. 130 to 230. These controllers really suck. 1-day shipping. There we go. Free shipping from Japan? Probably not. Pre-owned, $60 or $47. This one's got a kit with it, looks like. We've got Pokemon Stadium, Mario, Cruising USA. Yeah. Okay, you know, let's do this. Let's search for Nintendo 64 with HDMI. Okay. None of these are jumping out at me. Those look like the AV2 HDMI again. This is the Ultra HDMI mod right here. So there's 2 mods out there for converting your Nintendo 64 to have native built-in HDMI. This is the good one from my understand. It's like 200 some bucks, but they did release recently one that's like $50. And I have been seeing Nintendo 64s that have that built into it. So what's this? It's blue. Ultra 64. That's got the... So for you young people out there, this was supposed to be the original logo on the Nintendo 64. It says Ultra 64. That's a little throwback there for you. $900? No thanks. I didn't even look at the price. Gosh. Oh, HDMI connector. Okay. Hold on, let's look at this again. With HDMI mod. Here we go. Okay, here we go. EverDrive 64. So this little jail nugget right here will get Nintendo lawyers sicking on you pretty fast. It is an emulation card, so we're not going to talk too much about that. It's not really what I'm here for, but what I am here for is that right there. You see that? Ooh, that's really crusty looking though. So if they've done the mod, you'll have the little HDMI slot right here. But this one looks really gross. All right. I'm going to keep looking. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at so far. This one's got my attention the most, okay? So we saw that most of these Nintendo 64s are going for like 100 to 150 bucks for a standard one. This one is $195 and it comes with the high-speedido HDMI mod adapter. This is the cheaper one. Like I said, they got released recently. And let's look on it here. It should look the same. I don't care about white. Those are fun, but show me the HDMI part. Okay. I don't really care so much about the color. Oh, there it is right there. You see that little HDMI port right there? Okay, so this is the cheaper version. This one will not output in 1080p. It only goes up to 720p, but I figured for Nintendo 64, that's plenty. This will do the onboard upscaling as well. So this is the one that's got my attention so far. We're going to go look at some brick and mortar, and then I'll do a little bit more hunting. But this guy I like so far. This is 212. Let's see if we change the color here. Oh, I don't need white. black. Okay, $195, comes with the HDMI built into it. This looks like a pretty good deal so far. Okay, so we're going to go look at some brick and mortar stores, and then I'll let you know what we decide. Let's get in the truck and let's get the heck out of here. Okay, so I'm outside my local pawn and pew store. Not sure if I can actually say that word on YouTube, but whatever. And we're going to see if they have any Nintendo 64 games and or systems in stock. I'll take my camera inside. I'm not sure if they'll let me film in here, but we're going to try. So fingers crossed. Oh, also, there are a couple of games that I am looking for. In a future episode, we're going to do like a top 20 list of games that I absolutely have to own. But the ones off the top of my head are Mario 64 and Pilot Wings, because those are the first two games that I bought with this system. So I kind of feel like that needs to be the first two games that I buy with the new system. I'm also on the lookout for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask in the gold collector's editions. I had Ocarina of Time in the standard edition, but I want the collector's edition. So that's what we're looking for. And if anything else jumps out, we'll grab those. So let's head inside Monticello Pawn and Gun.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I just got down inside Monticello Pawn and Gun. Super friendly people, and they're awesome people, but I didn't really even ask about recording because they had two Nintendo 64 systems priced at $80 a piece and 0 games. So, actually, I'm sorry, they had 2 games in there. One of them was sealed new in the box. It was a copy of WWF No Mercy for like $700, which I took a picture of it, so there you go. But yeah, not much in there to show. It's a pawn shop, so what do you expect? So we're going to go down the road to the actual retro game store and hopefully have better luck there. Okay, so I'm sitting here outside of Lewis Game Shop in Monticello, Minnesota, and apparently they open at noon, which is in a couple minutes from now. So we're just going to sit here and look at this angry Jeep. So I just finished up inside the Lewis Game Shop, and I gotta say, the guys inside there were super nice. They let me take some video and some pictures of the place. Awesome, awesome store. If you live in the Western Metro of Minneapolis or anywhere in Minnesota, this place is worth a look, especially if you're into board games, if you're into Magic the Gathering, if you're into Digimon, if you're into any sort of video games, Nintendo games, all the classic systems. They had Nintendo 64, they had Dreamcast, they had Saturn, Nintendo, Wii, walls and walls and walls of games, action figures. They had a whole room set up so you could play card games back there, play board games. Like, this is a nerd's heaven. So I'm going to come back and visit this place. It's awesome. So definitely worth a look. They did not have any of the games I was looking for. They did have a couple of Nintendo 64s for sale. They were $100 a piece, which is a good price. $100 came with a controller and all the cords. So that's a decent deal. Not sold that I'm going to go that route quite yet. I'm going to go back and look on eBay for a few more things before I make up my decision. So leaving after this trip completely empty-handed, but I'm feeling motivated and I'm not feeling discouraged. So let's go back to the house and keep looking for the system that we're going to buy. All right, so we're back home. It was kind of a bust on that trip, but I did find a really cool game shop, but I am coming home empty-handed. So I spent some more time on eBay, and drum roll please, here's what we bought. Yay! Let me run through this really quick, and let me tell you why I purchased this. Because obviously, this price tag right here, $339, is it's a little steep. And I paid it. I didn't do a best offer because this was just a guy selling it. But if the Nintendo 64 system is going to be the center of my new collection, I figured I should probably get a nice one. And here's why I went with this one. So this setup comes completely restored, according to the seller. Everything on here is nice and new. It says, recapped for long-term reliability. The original capacitors can degrade over time, causing performance issues. This N64 has been fully recapped with high-quality, long-lasting SMD capacitors. It's got a brand new power brick. It's got 2 controllers. It has an SD card adapter, which is the EverDrive sort of thing. And it does have that native HDMI mod built into it. So what I love to see is that this is a very clean game board. It's obviously been restored. It's been modded, because you can see on the back here, it does have the HDMI connector, which is what we were after. And it does have a couple of aftermarket controllers. I have not had great luck with these controllers, so I'm going to order some wireless ones off of Amazon, but we'll see. So I figured if I'm going to have this be, you know, the middle of my collection, it should be a nice one. So this one looks really nice. It's got everything we need. It's got a couple controllers with it, and it does come with that EverDrive 64-ish game connector, so we'll see what that's all about. But obviously I'm not here to emulate. I definitely want to I want to buy the games, so this is what we're going to start with, and this is what we're going with. So that does it for this inaugural episode of Nostalgia Unlocked. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe, please stay tuned for future updates on this series. I am really excited about this. I am so amped up to get a Nintendo 64 and relive some of those childhood memories that I love, and then obviously go over the games that we get with them. So hit that like and subscribe button pretty please, and until next time, we'll see ya. A little over 2 months ago, I lost my mom, suddenly, unexpectedly. This video series is dedicated to her. Without my mom, I wouldn't be who I am today, and without her love and support over these years, I definitely wouldn't be the gamer that I am today. Mom, I love you, and these videos are for you.